All right. So happy new year to everybody. I hope you're all like blessed. Hope you're ready for sure. For this week, for this year, to see what the markets are going to be doing, and definitely hope you're ready to learn and increase upon the knowledge you already have um, from the forex market, from trading, from cryptocurrencies, from stocks, basically to increase your knowledge so that you can be profitable this year, right? One of the things that you should have already decided as you begin your 2022, and especially as someone who's interested in making money from the market, is to obviously learn as much as possible to stay educated, right? That's one of the goals you should be having this year. And that's why I'm like, for the first call that we are doing in 2022, it's got to be on market psychology. It has to be on how to improve ourselves as traders, even as we gear up towards developing the skill set to actually trade, right? So as we all know, and it's commonly said to us, that trading is 90% psychology, right? Trading is 90% psychology, and that is not a joke. When you actually start to think about it that way, that means that you have to like empower yourself, right? Empower yourself. Like, make sure like you as an individual, you're empowered to tackle the market, right? Sometimes you may be going through something, you may be going through ups and downs, and they affect you in your trading game. And that's why you have to make sure, like, as an individual, before you even come to the market, before you even get into the market, before you start analyzing the market, your mindset is right, right? You've got to be a patient trader. So we're going to be looking at that. And I'm also going to give us 13 topics um, as a trader that you should equip yourself with, that you need to study this year as you get started with 2022. 13 topics to make sure that you look into, polish up on, you know, go through the understanding process and then practice up on. So you're going to go through that, and then just a couple of things like you can utilize to obviously make yourself a much better trader at the end of the day, right? So as we talk about market psychology this year, one of the things that I'm looking forward to is towards being a more patient trader, right? You're doing this in like 30 minutes, so it's not going to take so long. But being a patient trader is so important. Whether you're a scalper, an intraday trader, or a swing trader, you've got to be patient. Patience is the name of the game. At the end of the day, if you look at the market and you fail to wait for the right confirmations, the right entry points, you will always be on the losing end, right? You always be on the losing end. You experience drawdowns. If you're not patient enough, you exit your trades too early. Now you're losing money when you shouldn't be losing the money, right? So being a patient trader is obviously one thing that you have to get yourself to be in this year, right? Be more patient this year when it comes to your trading than you have done before. The other thing that I also would like to emphasize on us that we need to practice this year is avoiding FOMO, fear of missing out. You honestly have to avoid FOMO. Like, you cannot afford, right? You cannot afford to be scared of missing out on trades, right? So let me actually just type these things out, right? So it's kind of like emotions to deal with. When trading, right? And more so like when you're analyzing the market and all that, right? Just go like just a couple of things. The first thing is obviously to be more patient, Sorry. Patience. Cannot type. And then number 2 is a fear of missing out. Right? You obviously have to be careful about like fear of, do not be scared like you're gonna miss a trade. Now, you always come into trading knowing that your trade is out there for you. And sometimes it's like you're rushing because you see other people are making money and you're like, I want to jump in there to start making money. That is going to cost you, right? That is going to cost you. So do not have the fear of missing out. Honestly, be more patient. Like that's, don't feel like you're going to lose out. And some days, if I'm like, I know I used to trade when I'm driving because I'm like, oh, I see maybe in the chat they've sent out a trade idea, right? And I'm like, oh, I don't want to miss out on this, right? And sometimes I will see a trade idea, maybe it's like 5 minutes late, and I'm like, maybe I can still enter this trade. Guess what? You're rushing to go and lose money, right? And that's gonna cost you. That is going to cost you. So avoid the fear of missing out. Be always mindful of like, am I rushing into these trades? Am I, being too greedy? That's the other thing, right? Am I being greedy? You have to look out for greediness as a trader. This is going to be probably the one thing that is going to cost you when you have the perfect setup, right? When you have the perfect trade, laid out for you in front of you, you are seeing the perfect markup. Greed is going to mess it up for you. Because when you're greedy, you are going to over leverage. And how many times do we talk about over leveraging, right? You are going to over leverage, you are going to lose money. In case the trade goes on drawdown, now what happens is you margin out because you're over leveraged in there. Your account cannot handle that trade. That's greed right there working, right? And then sometimes you're taking way more trades. So over trading is also because of greed, right? And you want to avoid these things. You want to make sure you're not being greedy. Do not take like 10 trades at the same time. Like it doesn't make sense. The whole purpose of educating yourself, the whole purpose of making sure that you're learning how to get a perfect setup is to avoid over trading. Catch one trade, maximize on it, make the most amount of money from it, and then boom, you are all set to go. Greed, if you allow greed to be what guides you in 2022, you are going to be at a really, really bad place. Okay. The other thing is fear itself. Fear itself. Fear itself is gonna cost you. What they used to say this when I started trading, right? When I started learning how to trade, they used to say this: scared money loses all the time, right? Scared money loses all the time. Because guess what? If you're too scared to risk your money, first of all, when you're trading, you will never make money. You have to risk your money to make money. That is a basic truth about the market as it is, right? You have to risk your money to make some money, right? So if you never go out there and put yourself out there, fund up an account, right? Fund up an account for yourself and actually risk your money, you won't make money. The other thing is, if you're scared of like, I'm gonna lose out on this trade, then you put in a way tight stop loss. All right. Now the trade goes into drawdown, it makes a pullback, hits your stop loss because you're like too scared to allow for proper risk management. Fear is going to cost you. Scared money loses all the time. And basically what that means is whether you're in a trade or you're not in a trade and you're acting out of fear, if you can catch yourself at that particular moment, you need to just point it out to yourself. right? With all these emotions, it's always an aspect of point it out to yourself. Let yourself know that you are acting out of an emotion, right? You're acting out of an emotion, and then be like, now have a plan in place, okay? Have a plan in place as you move forward. The other thing here is, right, lack of planning. Like, as much as this is not so much an emotion, but lack of planning is something that suffered. I suffered from this. Like, you fail to plan when you're going to be trading, and now you have 1,000,001 things that you're doing at the same time when you are trading. Okay. And I promise you, trading is just like anything else out there. You need to concentrate on what you're doing. I have traded when driving, I have traded when I'm at work, and it doesn't end out too well. No one should lie to you. It doesn't end out too well. See, sometimes if you're not planning yourself, right, you'll be trying to trade, and there's people who need your time. And if that is happening all the time, like, you realize, damn, it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. You have to plan your trading time. Before you even start trading, you need to have like a process, like understand what you are doing. Here's the time I trade. I'm trading for 1 hour. Okay, which session am I trading? Is it the London session, the New York session? And of course, sometimes you're going to have free time. You're just going to jump in and look at the market, and that is still okay, right? But don't make it a habit, like, to just trade whenever. Be consistent, right? So lack of consistency. In 2022, you gotta be consistent. Okay, you've got to be consistent. If you're not consistent, and it's not just about trading, it's also about learning. It's also about learning. If there's one thing that I have learned, and this is not just in trading, with everything else in life, the moment you fail to be consistent, and especially in understanding what you are doing, you're going to do that particular activity the wrong way. You're going to do it in an haphazard kind of a pattern, like, because you, first of all, you never paid attention, you never stuck to the learning process, right? You're not consistent enough to learn. Now you will suffer from that. But I promise you, if you can be consistent, more so in the learning process, understanding, why does the market go up? Why does the market go back to a particular zone? And then practice every day. Be consistent. You have learned consistently. I am still learning even now. Like, that is the one thing that I always, I tell myself, like, I still don't believe how much I do not know from this market. Or like, I look at something, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a whole new concept. I listen to educators and I'm like, that's a whole new concept that I had no idea about, right? And I'm staying consistent. I have been on Go Lives today, and it's on a Sunday, just trying to improve my knowledge base. And I realize if I do that, I'm learning way more every day than if I just sit down and say, oh, I already know, right? I already know, like, those things, that's not going to help you. Stay consistent more so in the learning process, right? And then be consistent in your trading process. Have a process, stick to the process. Have a strategy, stick to the strategy. Yes, can you improve upon your strategy? Of course you can. But you know what happens? Sometimes we are going to lose money. And sometimes we feel like the strategy we are using is making us lose money. And then now we want to start changing the strategy. But I can tell you, like, I've been doing this for a minute, and I've realized, yes, there's going to be bad days. Not because your strategy doesn't work, but because it's just a bad day. Now you're trying to change up, they call it the cycle of doom, right? Learn a new strategy, you start making it work for you, it works for you, then the market goes crazy, you lose some money, you feel like the strategy doesn't work. Now you start trying to change up your strategy, improve up on the strategy. Before you know it, now you have a new strategy that you're trying to learn and make work for you, and the cycle repeats itself. And this is going to happen in trading because there's so many ways of analyzing this market. It's crazy. Indicators, there's thousands of indicators. And if you look at my charts, I have had the same indicators consistently throughout. If at all anything, the more I keep learning about smart money concepts, the less indicators I use, but I'm still consistent in the way in my trading process, right? I'm not going to dwell so much on the emotions that you need to look out for when you're trading. These are basic stuff, right? Show up, make sure you're learning, make sure you're trading. These are things that we already know, right? The one thing that I want to emphasize on today is more so about, it's 13 topics that I believe are going to help. If we could just like all pay attention to this, right? So 13 topics everyone should learn. And I'm just sticking to the basics. Okay. 13 topics to study in trading. This is gonna help us for sure, for sure. Let me make this smaller. I hope you can all see it. I don't know. Check up on this on the screen. Okay. I think it's visible enough for all of us. I think we can all see it. Sorry about that. So 13 topics to study in trading. Obviously, number one, right, is going to be candlestick patterns. This is the basics of the market. This is the basics of the market. If you don't know about candlesticks, you probably need to take some time to actually learn about candlesticks, right? Candlesticks are the basic interpretation of the price, how the market is moving. Candlesticks are basically how the market communicates to us, right? This is the language of the market, right? And understanding the different patterns is very, very important. There is Candlestick Bible that you can definitely take advantage of, right? Let me see if I can just find it for us. But Candlestick Bible, really, really important. It's going to save you a lot, right? Will save you a lot because at the end of the day, if you don't know these candlestick patterns, then it's like, what are you actually looking at when you're analyzing the market, right? What will you be looking at when you're analyzing the market? So let me just get the Candlestick Bible for anyone who hasn't seen it. For anyone who hasn't seen the Candlestick Bible, this is how it looks like. Just a quick second. So this is a Candlestick Bible. And it outlines for you, right, the most basic candlestick patterns. It tells you what's a candlestick, different candlestick patterns, the engulfing bar candlestick, doji candlestick, and all that, right? And it tells you how each of those patterns work and what they actually mean. So like, for example, these are the basics of the candle. Like, you just need to know these things. It's important, right? and it tells you what every one of them means, right? Like, let's say, for example, you have a bearish engulfing candle. It gives you the interpretation of what, when you see it, what to actually look out for, right? So understanding candlestick patterns is going to be really, really important in your trading, journey, right? Do not take that for granted for any 1 minute at all, at all, at all. Then understanding price action patterns, okay? Price action patterns. And this is just market structure, right? That's what this is all about. Just understanding market structure is also going to be very important for us, for you as a trader. Like, just being able to know what the different, like if you see a head and shoulders pattern, what does that mean for you? Understanding break of structure and all those things, that is going to be really, really important. Do not take it for granted at any one moment in time, right? Obviously, support and resistance. Okay, support and resistance. And this is also going to comprise of understanding key levels, right? Key levels in the market. Familiarize yourself with what all these things mean for you as a trader, okay? Go back into the basics. Start this year right. Start this year by educating yourself. Understand, even quarter theory, right? I am telling you, some of these things are just crucial. And it's all basics. It's going to help you in a big, big way, okay? And then understanding supply and demand zones, okay? Supply and demand zones. Like, just understand what that means for you as a trader, okay? And I know one of the educators in IM Academy has been teaching this in the last week. That's Oran Wright, right? So he's the educator who does levels, right? So you can just hop on his session, see what's going on. I'm promising you, some of these things are just really, really helpful, right? Really, really helpful. And I also like encourage you guys, and just like understanding smart money concepts. I have found this to be a topic that has changed the way that I trade, right? It changed the way that I trade. And I know if you just go into it, dig into it, you will definitely see a huge difference. Just understanding how the banks do it, how big money does it. And then knowing that this game is kind of rigged, and having that idea makes you a smart money trader. Like, it just makes you smart in the way you look at the market. Knowing about liquidity, stop loss capture and all those things is going to help you in a big way. And it's also going to help you to avoid just being ignorant, because most people lose money in the market, right? Most people lose money in the market, and it's a fact that everyone has to face. If you're not like on the right side of the analysis, you're gonna lose money, right? But you also have to understand, why are people losing money? Why is it the majority of the people are losing money? Okay, so that is going to be like important, right, for us. And then trend analysis. Okay, trend analysis, just knowing when the market is in an uptrend, a downtrend, if the market is consolidating, you need to know that. That's like the basics of everything. Then being able to do a top-down analysis for yourself. Oh, I keep putting the eye now, right? Being able to do a top-down analysis for yourself is going to help you big time when you're analyzing the market. when you're looking at the market, you first want to see what is the big picture. Overall, what is happening in the market, right? The big picture. And that's why it's a top-down analysis, like, and then work your way from the higher time frames to the lower time frames. Get your entries on the lower time frames, okay? This is going to be a good way to make sure that you know what's happening in the big picture and then what's happening on the smaller time frames, so that you know you're not caught by surprise, okay? And then also you need to understand different financial instruments. And when I say this, these are the different tools of analysis. One of them being the Fib tool, okay? Fibonacci, how you spell it, right? I think that's the right spelling. Okay, there you go. So one of them is just being able to use like something like Fibonacci in your analysis, and that's going to help you in a big way. I promise you that. And it's not the only tool out there, okay? But it's one of the ones that I would highly encourage you to understand, okay? It's one I would highly encourage you to understand. And then, you know, don't be scared of like scrolling stuff. There's so much out there that you can use. I have been seeing some stuff I have not used before being used, and people are making like good analysis with it. And I desire to learn more. I desire to understand more what is actually happening in the market. And then this is more of a repetition, but trend following trading, right? This is trading with the trend. If the market is in an uptrend, then you are trying to like get into buy positions. If the market is in a downtrend, you're trying to get into sell positions, right? So understanding how to do trend following trading, important. And on the other side of it is counter trend trading, right? Counter trend trading, which is the opposite. This is being able to take a sell position when the market is making a pullback in a buy trend, right? When the market is bullish, sometimes you see pullbacks. Are you able to capitalize on that, right? Being able to do counter trend trading. And then now we get into trading psychology, right? This is right here, your 90%, okay? Trading psychology, this is so important, like really, really important. You need to have the right mindset, the right attitude before you even start looking at the market, right? If you get in there thinking you're gonna be losing, of course you're gonna lose. If you get in there thinking that you're a terrible trader, of course you're gonna be terrible at trading. If you get in there with frustrations, yes, the market is also going to frustrate you, right? If you are trying to come into the market, you're in a hurry, you know, things are not going to work out too good for you. They will not. They will not at all, at all. Then risk management, my goodness, like the whole reason why we are able to remain profitable is having good risk management. Without good risk management, you are in trouble. If you cannot manage your trades, you are in trouble. And this is also going to include being able to do what we call maximizing your profits. Okay, this is also going to include maximizing your profits, right? Being able to do good risk management, and on top of that, being able to maximize profits with every given trade that you take. And this last one here is understanding how leverage trading works, okay, and also being able to understand different types of trading. Like, you obviously have options. You can basically just buy, right? Like, if you're investing in Bitcoin, you could either leverage or take a position in the market. But it's good to understand how exactly does this concept work. For me personally, I would recommend, like, what does it even mean to margin out? Okay, some of us don't even understand what the trading window means. What, because we see our balance, right? And then we have what's the next thing there? Let me just like go back into my MetaTrader to check this out for us, right? So we have our balance, our equity, our free margin, our margin levels, and then our margin. And some people don't know what some of those things mean. All we see is the numbers, right? But go back and understand what is leverage trading. What exactly am I doing? When I put my money in MetaTrader, how am I even able to make money? Right? And then understand how the brokers work. This is just like behind the scenes kind of a deal. Understand how these brokers work. So do not be ignorant. Do not take these things for granted. Like 13 topics in 2022, I would encourage you to look into. Right? I was afraid that was gonna happen. Let me just paste them in here one more time. Okay, 13 topics. You definitely need to go ahead, familiarize yourself with them, educate yourself. This year, do not leave anything to chance. Right? Don't leave anything out to chance. Don't be like, oh, I'll see how it goes. No, you take, just be the leader of your trading, right? Just, take charge, right? Take charge of your trading process. Take charge of your trading journey. Do not just be the person who's out there second guessing or trying to figure things out. I promise you, even the best trader out there was and is a student, right? Educating yourself is so important. Educating yourself is so important. I cannot overemphasize that. Every single day, learn something new. Even if it's going to mean like you're going to go through these topics one at a time, break them down for yourself, right? You have people whom you can ask questions, reach out, just decide this is the topic I'm going to cover first, right? Then dig into it, understand it, right? So personally, what I'm going to do, just to help us understand all these 13 topics, these 13 topics are going to be what we are covering in the course of these next 2 months, right? We're going to break every one of these concepts down in the course of these next 2 months, between January and February. I'm mostly going to be teaching, basics. If we do market analysis, it's going to be a part of the lesson, right? So that we understand these 13 topics. At the end of the day, you should be good. Once you understand a concept, if you have a question or if you need any more clarification, just reach out. When we do this, we are all going to be at a much better place where we are not going to be trading from a point of ignorance or a point of just not having the right kind of information, right? You want to be educated traders. We want to be informed traders, and we want to be traders who are taking charge of their trading journey. Not just about depending on trading signals, not just about depending on people out there to get you to where you need to go. No, it's about you being able to do it for yourself, right? I don't know if there's anyone with a question, but this is going to be the focus for the next 2 months. not so much analyzing charts, but so much as to learning, right? January and February. So I'm looking forward to this. I'll send out the schedule so that we are all on top of it. And then we know what's exactly happening. So if you have questions, you can go ahead and ask. Should be able to unmute yourselves or something like that, or type in the chat. I'll copy this for you guys in the chat. Now you're able to copy it right there. I'm also going to be posting this on the YouTube channel, sending out the link. If you haven't subscribed and you probably are not going to be like available for the Zoom calls, that would be a good place to get all the recordings. So definitely hit that subscribe button, and if you have questions, type in the chat and I will be responding to you for sure. So that's it. Let's keep learning. This is just the beginning of a wonderful year, right?